Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something fundamental in software. That constant tug of war, really.
Right, between speed and convenience,
Yeah.
SaaS and having real control, security, self-hosting.
Exactly. And most companies lean hard into easy signups. But the product we're looking at today, it's making this, well, pretty radical bet the other way.
Yeah, we're talking about ThetaCoach CRM. It's designed to run locally, on your own gear. Think Cloud AI, PostgreSQL, all on your setup.
And the price point is striking.
Just $1 a month for the basic solo version, which immediately raises the question, is this genius positioning, building a moat around data control, or is it just, well, unsustainable, heading for a niche dead end?
That's the crux of it. And our mission today is basically a forensic look. We're examining the biggest thing holding back their whole vision.
Which is this absolutely crippling onboarding process.
40 minutes. It's taking users 40 minutes when it should take 5. They even call it the Gauntlet of 1,000 paper cuts. Yeah. So we're going to unpack how they plan to fix that, essentially turn that chaos into, believe it or not, an advantage.
Okay, let's start with why self-host in the first place. Who are they even targeting with this friction-heavy approach?
It's a very specific group. The sources call them vibe coders, future-proofers, technical founders.
Basically, people who are almost pathologically allergic to vendor lock-in. They prioritize data sovereignty over everything else.
So they're actively pushing away the average user who just wants plug and play. Why embrace that friction? How does making it harder actually become an advantage?
Because for this niche, the core value is zero lock-in. It's infinite extensibility.
Yeah.
You run it on your own Superbase, your own PostgreSQL database. You own everything, the data, the schema.
The keys to the kingdom.
Exactly. And for that specific user, hearing, yes, you get raw PostgreSQL access, that's not a bug. That's the validation they crave.
Okay, but that leads straight to the money question. Unit economics. If it's just $1 a month, why not just build a smooth hosted SaaS version? Surely the conversion effort isn't that bad.
No, it's massive. And the math just falls apart instantly.
How so?
Our sources estimate a full SaaS build would take, 12 to 18 weeks, costing maybe $80,000 to $120,000 up front.
Okay, significant, but maybe doable for some.
But here's the kicker, the ongoing costs. The Claude API calls for the AI coach, the Superbase hosting per user. It would absolutely obliterate that $1 price point. There's like an 81% confidence cited that SaaS just breaks the model.
Right. So the self-hosted model isn't just a preference. It's the only way that $1 price works. It's their impossible to copy mode.
Precisely. The user bears the variable hosting costs.
Okay, so that $1 V1 solo plan is locked into self-hosting forever, basically. But wait, if I set it all up myself, run it on my database, what stops me from just ditching ThetaCoach after a few months and just running the database setup I already built? Seems like easy turn.
That's where the monetization gets clever.
Yeah.
It's layered. They're not really trying to make money on the $1 users directly.
So what are they for?
Filtering, adoption, getting the core tech out there. The real revenue comes from higher up the ladder.
Okay.
So they contrast that $1 entry point with, proper SaaS tiers. There's a $49 on a month starter plan, a $497 a month team plan.
Right, more standard SaaS pricing.
And then there's the really high-end tier, maintenance and support.
Which costs?
$2,500 per seat per month.
Wow. Okay, who pays for that?
Enterprises. The ones who want that data sovereignty, that control, but are terrified of the technical risk of managing it themselves.
So they're selling insurance against the very complexity the vibe coders embrace.
Exactly. They turn the liability you manage your own SQL database into a premium service. It's quite elegant, really.
That reframing is key. Okay, let's shift gears. The product itself. Why would anyone tolerate any setup friction, even if it was just 5 minutes? What's the killer feature?
This is where they aim for that immediate wow moment. Once you're set up, the core thing is the AI sales coach.
How does that work?
It literally calls your phone, within 30 seconds. You choose a persona, skeptical prospect, busy executive, whatever, and you practice your pitch, your closing skills against the AI.
So it forces you into a live simulation.
Yes. Get you off script, simulates real pressure, and the whole CRM isn't just a contact list. It's built around one specific, pretty rigorous methodology.
The challenger sale. I've heard of that.
Right. Discovery, rational drowning, emotional impact, solution, commitment. Those 5 stages.
And the CRM enforces this.
It dictates the flow. For example, that rational drowning stage. The tool pushes you to quantify the cost of inaction for the client, not just talk about your features. The AI coach holds you accountable to sticking to that framework during the practice calls.
Okay, and they have data on whether this actually works.
They claim it does. They cite these ROI calculators showing potential for like a 2x improvement in hit rates,
Hmm?
saving maybe 4 months on typical sales ramp-up time, and a 3x increase in call velocity because of pre-built battle cards based on the methodology.
Battle cards.
Yeah, essentially structured notes and prompts for each stage of the challenger sale, tailored to different situations. And here's the really interesting insight they had, the thing that elevates the vision beyond just sales tech.
What's that?
They realized the challenger methodology isn't just for sales, it's kind of a universal persuasion framework.
How so?
They found it works just as well for structuring, say, a high-stakes recruiting event, or planning podcast content like this, or even framing internal proposals. It's a transferable skill, a mindset.
A mindset currently locked behind a 40-minute setup failure.
Exactly. Which brings us back to the critical problem, that 40-minute setup tax. It's just catastrophic when your core promise involves speed and efficiency.
Right. So let's break down why it takes 40 minutes. What are the leaks?
Well, the sources identify 3 main ones. Leak number 1 is the prerequisite trap. Even technical users, the target audience, are stumbling because they don't have the right Node.js version installed. Maybe Node 18 or higher is needed, or their NPM is misconfigured.
And they get cryptic error messages.
Exactly. Which immediately makes the tool feel unstable and unprofessional. Kills trust right out of the gate.
Okay, what's leak number 2?
They call it the copy-paste minefield. This is the manual setup part.
Ah, the .env.local file. Nightmare.
You got it. Users have to jump over to their Superbase dashboard, find their project URL, find their service role key, which is super sensitive, then copy and paste both correctly into a local file.
Oh, I've been there. One wrong character, one missed symbol, and you waste an hour debugging.
Right. For a developer tool, asking for manual copy-paste of sensitive keys feels amateurish. It really damages credibility with that audience.
Definitely. And the third leak. This sounds like the most critical one.
It is. They call it the cockpit failure. This one's fascinating. Even the users who successfully navigated the 40-minute setup, they weren't actually using the core coaching feature properly during the live practice calls. The challenger checklists,
Yeah.
the battle cards, they were being ignored.
Why? If that's the whole point.
Cognitive load. Trying to role-play convincingly, listen to the AI judge on the phone, and simultaneously find and check off items on a complex UI checklist.
Yeah.
It was just too much to handle in the moment.
So the magic feature was unusable when it mattered most.
Precisely. The core value was built, but inaccessible under pressure.
Okay, so massive problems. How do they fix this? What's the strategic plan to get from that 40-minute gauntlet to the promised 5 minutes or even less?
The new goal is simple. One command onboarding. They're building an NPX script. You'll just type NPX create the Theta-driven app in your terminal.
Like create React app or similar tools.
Exactly. That one command will handle everything. Check prerequisites like node version, interactively prompt for the Superbase credentials, so no copy-pasting files, run NPM install automatically, and even register the MCP server. Multi-agent control panel. It's a thing that coordinates the different AI models behind the scenes. The script handles all that setup automatically.
Okay, that sounds like a huge improvement. Turning a multi-step manual nightmare into one command.
And the immediate fix, phase 1, is replacing all those scattered manual steps documented somewhere with a single central bash script setup.esh file.
Ah, so even before the NPX script is fully ready, they centralize and automate internally.
Right. That script validates the whole environment before it tries to install anything,
Right.
catching those prerequisite issues early with clear messages.
Smart. Now, what about the cockpit failure? Fixing the setup doesn't help if people still ignore the checklists.
Good point. That requires a different approach. They need to make those checklists not just usable, but indispensable during the call.
How?
2 main things. First, refactoring the checklists themselves using something called the STAR framework.
STAR, like in interviews. Situation, task, action, result.
Sort of, but adapted here. It means see it. The cue, trigger, the specific situation. Action, what did I say? Result, the desired outcome. The goal is hyper-actionable, clear steps for high-pressure moments.
Making them easier to digest quickly.
Exactly. And second, a major UI redesign they're calling the Live Copilot.
Okay, what does that look like?
Imagine during the practice call, your screen splits. On desktop, maybe horizontally, mobile, vertically. One part shows the call interface. The other shows only the notes and checklist items for the current challenger stage you're in.
Ah, so no scrolling through a giant list.
Yeah.
Just what you need right now.
Precisely. With big, easy-to-tap buttons to check items off with a single click, reducing that cognitive load is paramount.
That makes sense. Any other tweaks to the UI?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
clever little meta fix. When you manually advance the call to the next challenger stage, say, from discovery to rational drowning, the system will automatically mark the previous stage's key objective as broached. It reinforces adherence to the methodology without requiring an extra click from the user. It gently guides them to follow the structure, making the framework feel supportive, not burdensome.
Okay, so the operational fixes the MPX script, the Copilot UI, seem critical for making the CRM actually work. But let's zoom out again. You mentioned this isn't just about the CRM. What's the bigger strategic play here? Tell us about IntentGuard.
Right. IntentGuard is the, let's say, North Star. It's a sister product, but it's positioned for a much, much larger market.
Which is?
AI safety and compliance. Think the EU AI Act. It's potentially a $2.7 trillion market space they're aiming for.
Whoa. Okay, what does IntentGuard actually do?
It's built on what they call patent-pending math, specifically a formula named trust debt.
Trust debt. What's that measure?
Essentially, it quantifies the statistical drift between an AI model's intended behavior, what it was trained for, and how it actually behaves out in the real world over time.
So it measures if an AI is going off the rails, basically.
In a quantifiable way, yes. Which is critical for regulators who need proof that AI systems are behaving as intended. IntentGuard aims to provide that mathematical proof of intent reality drift, or lack thereof.
Okay, massive vision. But how does the little $1 self-hosted CRM fit into this giant AI safety play? Where's the connection?
The CRM, ThetaCoach, is the engine. It's the monetization stream, sure, but more importantly, it's the talent filter for IntentGuard.
How does that work? Explain the flywheel.
It creates this really interesting self-reinforcing loop. Step one, a developer, maybe one of those vibe coders, gets interested in the tech. Maybe they start contributing to the IntentGuard open source project, perhaps improving its 8-agent pipeline for analysis.
Okay, they get involved technically.
Step two, because they're using ThetaCoach CRM themselves or they see its value, they become an affiliate. They start promoting it, earning a 30% recurring commission.
So they have skin in the game.
Exactly. And step three, that whole process, contributing technically, engaging commercially, acts as a filter. It identifies the really sharp, committed A players.
The ones they want for the main event.
Right. Those individuals then get invited to join the IntentGuard founding team, which is targeting that potential $80 million to $200 million valuation down the line.
That is clever. The CRM's technical complexity, the self-hosting friction, once they tune it down from 40 minutes to, say, 90 seconds, it becomes the perfect filter. They're essentially getting developers to pay $1 a month to onboard themselves into a high-stakes recruitment funnel.
It's brilliant, isn't it? And they actually use this logic for recruiting events, too.
How so?
They created a specific battle card using their own challenger framework for an IntentGuard Sunday hackathon. The whole event wasn't designed to get 30 casual attendees or tourists, as they put it.
No.
No, it was meticulously structured to filter for maybe 3 deeply engaged developers who really understood the core mathematical concepts behind trust debt. Quality over quantity, identified using their own sales methodology applied to recruiting.
Wow. A closed-loop system.
Yeah.
Use the persuasion tool to recruit people to build the bigger vision, which relies on the persuasion tool's users.
Exactly. So, zooming out, this deep dive really shows a company making a complex, maybe even risky, but ultimately quite brilliant strategic bet.
A bet on data sovereignty, on a very specific technical niche.
Right. And the core lesson seems clear. If you're building a premium product for developers, that technical risk, like giving them raw SQL access, you have to reframe that. You have to make it the feature.
Which they've done.
But, and this is the critical but, the operational friction, the onboarding pain, that has to be ruthlessly eliminated. Otherwise, that amazing AI coach, the core value prop, it just sits there, unused.
Because nobody can get to it or it's too clunky to use when they do. The highest leverage point isn't just fixing a bug, it's calibrating that talent filter.
Yeah, that 40-minute gauntlet wasn't just bad UX, it was strategically crippling their bigger vision. The core idea of using self-hosting as a filter, that seems to be the potential $200 million insight, but only if the entry is smooth.
Absolutely. Which brings us to a final provocative thought to leave you with.
It really circles back to that reframing. Think about what most companies consider catastrophic security risks, giving users direct SQL access, making them handle their own backups.
Things that would give CISOs nightmares.
Exactly. ThetaCoach is taking those very risks and actively marketing them. They've turned potential liabilities into their primary selling points, the core of their unique technical brand identity.
It's a masterclass in making your supposed weaknesses your defining competitive advantage.
If they can nail the execution, yes.
Fascinating stuff. Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.